guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Fore podcast with myself and Don Julio. Today we're bringing you Dan Taylor from Club Caddie. One of my buddies that I played football with. I believe that was the first time that we interacted, right? Back in elementary school.
Yeah.
I think it was fourth grade. It was
Crazy.
somewhere around there, and we played football together and kept in touch ever since. He went to another high school, and he's a big Michigan fan. I'm a big Ohio State fan. Julio's a Michigan fan. So we always, kept in touch with social media and everything. But he, I believe, you went to Eastern Michigan, correct? Is that correct?
Yeah, I got my degree there.
Did you go out there?
Yeah,
got your degree in Eastern Michigan. He's been in Michigan ever since, probably as season tickets, honestly, for the Michigan Wolverines. I wouldn't be surprised. But
absolutely.
He's been a huge golfer. Did you play golf at Morro Bay?
I did not. No. I guess as we would
you
say,
did not. Okay.
we played real sports and then we took up golf after, right? So
that's for damn sure. I don't know if you guys saw the Sharpie podcast where God, why am I blanking on this guy's name? Football
Shannon
player.
Sharp.
Shannon Sharp was
I haven't heard of Sharpie before, but that's the first for me.
Yeah. Well, his podcast is called Sharp, it's like Sharp, right?
Okay.
And Shannon Sharp was interviewing Prime, right? Deion Sanders, and he says, out of all the sports you played, what was the hardest sport that you competed in? He goes, baseball, by far. He goes, it is a game that is truly built off of failure. He goes, if you get 3 hits out of 10 at bats, you're a legend. He's like, that doesn't happen. He's like, you miss 3 tackles out of 10 if you miss 7 out of 10 tackles in football, like
you're out of a job.
Yeah, you're out of a job. He goes, baseball, and he goes, and I'll tell you this much. He goes, I've never seen a ball move the way that a baseball does, like in any other sport. He's like, a football just comes right at you. You see it. It's there. You either get it or you don't. But he's like, baseball, he goes, the way the pitchers move, mix up speeds, the action on it, the late break. He's like, it's insane. He goes, it's the hardest sport ever.
Well, funny you say that. One of my buddies sent me one of those little Instagram reels today of him coming back 3 years after playing football, devoting football, coming back to the Reds. Home run off of Eric Gagne, single off Eric Gagne. I think he stole third base. Just absolute insane talent. Him and Bo Jackson up there for two of some of the best athletes to ever do it. But jumping back to Dan Taylor for Club Caddie. What exactly is Club Caddie? If you could put it in layman's terms.
Yeah, so I would say the best definition is that it's business management software specifically designed for golf operations. And we have 4 basic terms, or four basic categories of golf operations, whether it be municipal, semi-private, daily fee, or fully private, right? And they all have unique needs, and we try to cast that net to satisfy all of them. That's the ultimate goal. So, point of sale, electronic mobile app, the business tool, and the business to consumer tool. That's what we're geared towards.
Okay, nice. So I got a quick question really quick. How did you come about that? Did you always have something in mind growing up when you had played golf that hey, there's something missing that I feel like I can help out with? Did you go to school for something that could help out with this? How did this all come about?
Yeah. So, I'm over 32 now. I started kind of my professional golf career, not as a professional golfer, but, as a profession in the field as a teenager. And, that started at a place that we're familiar with, at Dairy Creek in San Luis Obispo, California. And, I started basically as a laborer outside and kind of working ground up, and I kind of got the hooks in me, and the plan was to stay in golf. It piqued my interest. There was a lot of different components that go into golf that I'm sure we'll touch on. And once I moved back to Michigan, I was going through school. I was in a sport management major, and I ended up meeting a few guys that we ultimately, founded Club Caddie. And to be honest, they did a lot more work with it than I did. Certainly had input, but I give a lot of credit to those guys and their vision. And, a lot of my input came from just being an operator first, right? And being on that side of the desk and utilizing different softwares in the past, and what we liked, what we didn't like, and a lot of collaboration, and ultimately building something that we felt like was a net gain for different facilities across the country, ultimately into Canada and Mexico now, right? So
Nice.
and it hasn't stopped. That's the future, is to continue to grow and never stop developing and never stop learning. Not having that attitude like everything, because you don't. We've learned so much the last 8 years that that's been the core of our journey, and it's been awesome. Met a lot of cool people.
Awesome. Nice. Awesome.
Yeah, man. I mean, so as just a little background for me, so when I was done playing baseball, I found myself in the golf industry pretty much immediately. I was, I met some awesome people in the industry who were just like, you want fast cash, you want to be able to golf every other day and get great stuff like right away from vendors. Come and work, come and work in the golf industry. And I started off as at a retail store, Golfsmith, that eventually got acquired by Dick's and turned into Golf Galaxy. But like the people that I worked with at the Santa Clara, or at the San Carlos store up here in the Bay Area, it was, I mean, I don't think I could have been surrounded by more golf hungry people in my life. I mean, these guys lived and breathed golf. Everything was like, oh yeah, this TaylorMade slider, it's the real freaking deal, like, Callaway Razor Hawk, like that's the real deal, right? Ping G20s. This is good for like your upper player, right? The face is open 1 degree. All this different stuff. I learned so much from these guys, and these guys are still really, really close friends of mine today. And, a few of them were in my wedding and just considered brothers through and through. But shortly after that, I got into green grass, and I worked with, I believe it was called like Fore Up Golf as our POC system. And it was a pain in the ass. Not going to lie to you. Like, point of sales, it just didn't read certain things. But then also when it came to like the tea time organization, like it was difficult to do cancelizations. It was difficult to see if there was any changes, where if a and I worked at a country club, to be particular. It was just tough. But like I said, just taking a look now, here I am at 32 years old, taking a look at it now. I wish the system was around. This looks effective, efficient, and easy to use for everyone. I mean, when you're talking about like the graphs that you guys display here, like, dude, I can't tell you how helpful that would have been just to go and present to like our our upper management and say, here's exactly what we did today. Like, back off, we're moving merch. Tell your sales director to stop stealing stuff from our shop, so that way we don't have to pull it out of inventory. Like, here's everything. You know what I mean? So I guess in a question from me to you is, what problems did you see when it came to coming up with Club Caddie? Like, how did you guys end up solving these issues for other clubs and presenting Club Caddie for them as their POS system?
Well, I mean, definitely from our perspective, or where we stood, the biggest issues were being a new product tapping into the market, right? And getting places to take a chance on you so that you can get it in there, you can prove yourself, things like that. Because ultimately, I mean, these facilities you're managing millions of dollars potentially, right? And 1+1 needs to equal 2, or else what's the point? It can be cool, it can be easy to use, right, but if those numbers don't come out at the end of the day, then it's really worthless. And
yeah,
and I would
go
say,
ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. I would say from our end, that was the biggest piece.
Yeah.
From the customer perspective, I mean, that's a question that could take us this entire duration of the podcast, right? And a staple that we've lived by, through this journey is that golf courses are like snowflakes, man, and there just isn't a lot of them that operate in the same way. They just don't, and they could be 5 miles apart and not operate in the same capacity. I mean, JT, like you've gone and played those Sierra properties. They exist under the same umbrella, and they still do things a little bit different on a day-to-day basis, right? And those have been a great Club Caddie customer, and everything everywhere has their little nuances, and learning those things, learning differences between states, and legality, reporting requirements, like that's things that you learn as time goes. And the best, the biggest thing you can do is to try to satisfy those things and learn and get better and be committed to that. And I think that's something that the team at Club Caddie has done a great job of. It's not saying we know the best practices, right? Like we all, pretty much all of us, come from an operator's perspective or a background in some capacity. Not everybody's super, always super techie, but you understand how things should work, what the expectation is, because a lot of us have stood on that other side of the desk. And I think that helps us, sympathize with the customer too, be receptive to feedback, and always be striving towards a common goal. So that's been a huge benefit for the company, for sure.
Yeah, man, I think you just hit it on the nail there. I mean, the reference to 1+1 equals 2, like I couldn't tell you how many times, our teaching pro, right, would set up a class for like a corporate event, take balls, that's a gift. Wouldn't let anybody know. Now we're down, $200 worth of Pro V1s, and it's like everyone's running around there with like a chicken with their head cut off, like, oh my god, Pro V1s, like no way, right? And then out of random, we used to have like, I mean, we had some good stuff. Like we had G4 in the early days before it really kind of blew up to like the I guess the conglomerate is now. But we had all that stuff, and sometimes those jackets would go missing. I mean, those jackets were not cheap. Those were like $200 jackets that we were holding, in the middle of the shop. So then that way no one would just walk out. No member would walk by the door, just take it, put it in their locker, be like, oh yeah, just charge it to my account. It's like, we don't operate like that. I need the SKU. I need the SKU. Give me the SKU, Right. So I think you really hit on the nail there. I mean, the golf industry, as beautiful and as rewarding, and also as fucking stressful as it can be, like there's a lot of shady shit that happens in green grass operations. I mean, I can't tell you how many times in my time in the golf industry I heard about courses that were down the street that they were shutting down because they found out that the two owners were embezzling money the entire time.
Sure.
Right. Great tracks, and a lot of that just has to do with going in to the POC system or to the POS system, changing some numbers, making it look like it looks okay, right? And quite honestly, you're taking everything. So it's, it's, I think it's cool to have, not that I think it's cool, but I think it's a pretty awesome product that you guys have developed that really, really tailors to that, to those issues that are very real within the golf industry. And especially in the green grass in particular, it keeps the accountability, but also shows and reflects in real time, what the day to day is. So you can go in and confidently say to your GM, like, hey man, get off my back. we moved $1,000 worth of product today. We actually sold a Scotty Cameron, which we hadn't done in 3 months, which I will say, like, John comes from, Roger Dunn, where anybody walks in, they're like, hey, give me that Scotty Cameron over there. I want that Newport too. It's like, if you're in green grass and you can move a Scotty, like, you got something special there. Cause not everybody is like, hey, I'm going to take that Scotty that also has a 30% markup on it too. So,
sure.
You know what I mean? But I guess, in further question, aside from Club Caddie, like, what's it like for you being in Michigan, knowing that you're only going to play golf 6 times a month? Or I'm sorry, six months out of the year.
So the beautiful thing about, the Club Caddie thing, and I mean, really, just if you work in golf in Michigan, even though you do have that down period, you also have the opportunity to travel a little bit when the snow flies, right? So getting down south, or my dad still lives in California. He happens to be in Michigan right now visiting, and watching the 2-time defending Big Ten champion Michigan Wolverines in the big house. Sorry, KT. But haven't got to say that the last 20 years a whole lot. So
he's got a point there.
I get the opportunity to go out and visit during the holidays, and because we do have that down period, and also with the Club Caddie thing, it's cloud based. So if I have internet access, I can work, and that's awesome too. So
that's dope.
So I would say, as far as like working in the industry and living in a winter state, I've got it probably better than most in that aspect. And I've gone to the PGA show in Orlando several years in a row, and it's a great time.
So much fun, right?
Yeah,
isn't that one so much fun?
It's you spend a couple of days at the convention, and the rest of it is a lot of collaboration and having fun, and been really fortunate to be able to do that. So, I wish we could play year round here, because, to be honest, golf in the Midwest is really hard to beat with the quality of golf courses, the quality of the turf here. But I still get to smack it around in January and February. So no complaints.
Man. I mean, I'm definitely curious, because I think I played maybe once in the Midwest, and it was in Iowa, and I was probably like 13 or 14. Yeah. But like, with the amount of rain you guys get out there, my thing is, I got weak wrists. I don't know what it is now. Like, I've never had wrist issues. I never had wrist issues until I stopped playing sports. And then, like, I never had them, like, when growing up playing golf, any sports or anything like that. But when I got back into it in 2020, it's just like tendonitis just flared up, whether I was hitting down too much on the ball or what, just digging too much. Or it's just the hard freaking grass that we have out here because we have so little rain and so much sun. Be interesting to see how it feel on, places where it rains consistently, which here it's extremely rare. How are the prices for, let's say, your average golf courses out there compared to you come down here, like whether it's like Morro Bay? Obviously, Dairy Creek is 9 holes now. Would you say they're cheaper? Would you say they're about the same? Would you say the quality is a lot better, so no matter what, you're getting more bang for your buck?
Kind of, preceding that, so kind of a cool thing, I don't know if you knew this, but Morro Bay and Dairy Creek and Chalk Mountain are actually Club Caddie customers now, which is cool.
Oh, now they are. Oh,
wow.
I did. I got an email a few days ago or a week or so ago saying, "Hey, we're now Club Caddie." So I saw that. That's awesome.
So for me, that's like super full circle. I was pretty proud of that, and I didn't have anything to do with those installs. That came on its own, and that was it was just really cool. Testament to the work, because those places are golf factories, So the fact that they chose Club Caddie as a vendor was a nice feather in the cap. But anyways, so pricing in the Midwest. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I mean, it's the demographic definitely drives pricing. It's a huge factor here. I live in Jackson County, Michigan, which is for Southern Michigan, it's almost like a golf mecca, right? There's just very quality golf courses in a very blue collar area that ultimately it helps to drive the price down. And the strategy is to pull from more metro areas like Ann Arbor and Detroit. And because the golf courses are better in Jackson, but they don't have the population, the golf courses might be a little more traffic driven in Detroit, but not the same quality. They're similarly priced, but they're not on par as far as the level of golf course goes. So that kind of shows you the driving factor in those places, right? Is that it's supply and demand more so than really anything. But I would say in general, Michigan is very, very spoiled. The quality of golf course here is fantastic. I mean, it's just the type of turf here is some of the best playing surfaces in the world. It's just a short season, unfortunately, and being a short season, I mean, that also helps with condition of course too, right? It's just not getting as much traffic. The golf course that's getting 20,000 rounds in Michigan is probably doing 60, 75,000 in California. I mean, Morro Bay does 300 rounds a day on average for 365 days. I mean, it's just, that place has 3 bunkers on the whole course, and it's Kikuya, and the greens are the defense, but it's just, the place is bulletproof, and it drains well, and it's there's so many things that I, as somebody that's been doing this basically their entire career, like there's so many things that I think golfers or consumers of the game just they don't appreciate, because what they want to do is they want to buy a tee time, go tee it up, and they have an expectation that they don't factor in everything else. And I think that's frustrating for a lot of operators, that they put a lot of time into it, but maybe they don't they're not appreciated really for the work they do all the time.
Yeah.
How you said you're in where in Michigan? In Jackson
County? Yeah, so I'm 25 minutes from Ann Arbor, just west off of 94 there. So yeah, definitely south central.
How far? How far are you from? I think it's pronounced Otwata. Yeah, Otwata County. Is that how you pronounce it?
Not sure. Ottawa County.
Yeah, Ottawa County. Sorry, Ottawa. Yeah, Ottawa County. Sorry. How far are you from there?
Ottawa. So there's Ottawa Lake. It's about an hour, 50 minutes or so, maybe an hour.
Okay. Yeah. So a really good friend of mine. He's a two-star PGA instructor for Golf Tech over in I believe. Actually, he's in Ottawa County now. But the last time I went up and visited him, he was in Grand Rapids, and we went and played Egypt Valley Country Club.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, that is an amazing track. 36 holes. I think the the Valley course played 6,900 yards from the tips, and the Hills, I think, is the other one. The Hills played like at 71. Man, that was an awesome track. I mean, I don't remember what I shot, but I just remember I was piecing the ball really well, and the ball flew out there too. And I was just like, dude, this is fun. He was struggling big time. I mean, both times that we played, it was like a teaching lesson. But he invited me, kindly out there to play, and I was just a show. I was like, yeah, I hit ball far, and then 3-putt.
Yeah, the greens are definitely tough there. It's yeah, I mean, like I said, Michigan is the residents here are spoiled if they play golf. It's you can go anywhere in the state and play somewhere that's memorable, and the best golf course I've played is definitely Arcadia Bluffs, which you guys are golf nuts, and I'm sure
he mentioned he's mentioned that one before. He said it's like a super prestigious club to go play, and I think he's a member at Sunnybrook's Country Club now.
So so I played Forest Dunes twice. The first time I played, it was perfect, sunny, no wind. The second time, it was so foggy that both of you guys probably could have hit it out of sight. So,
oh man,
yeah.
I've played Half Moon Bay in the fog, and that's that one I couldn't tell you how happy I was that there was a GPS on the golf cart, because I was like, okay, we're playing the ocean side, like the hole is over this way. I have 230 yards until the fairway runs out here. I'm just going to take my 214 club, right? Hit that, and I would piece it. But the thing that was so crazy was I was just hitting to a number. I was literally just hitting to a number for the entire front nine, and I shot like 4 under, and I was like,
that's all I need to do. That's
I was like,
problem.
Oh my God. Putts were like falling. I was just like, dude, this is so easy when you play it. Then the fog cleared. I started pulling driver out, started pulling 3-wood, 2-iron. I'm like, oh my God, my game's going to shambles. What's going on now?
Yeah, man, I played the Central Valley fog out here is brutal. I played one round where all of a sudden the fog just came in, and you legitimately had to yell when you were done off the green because to let people know that you're off. Like, nuts.
Yeah, absolutely.
But just curious, Ryder Cup speaking, I know I posted something earlier today, but did you see, Julio, that Justin Thomas is now moving away from his dad as his coach to try and own his swing? And I was like, bro, you were talking about that like back-to-back episodes a few times ago. Like, he needs to get away from his dad if he wants to move on. I mean, Daniel, I know obviously you follow golf just like us. What did you think about that? And did you think, I mean, first off, did you even think he deserved the Ryder Cup spot?
Yes, man. I think deserve, and the deserve word probably no. I mean, I think pretty much everybody outside of guys not named Tiger Woods in the past probably haven't gotten that nod, right? Whether they've earned enough points or played well enough in that stretch. Yeah. It's typically earned with their merit of play, and his Ryder Cup record and probably his relationship with other players on the team is what got him there. And people like it or not, I mean, Tiger Woods is still the needle in the sport. And, if he gave Zach Johnson a, hey, you're taking JT, that's probably what was going to happen.
Right, yeah, it's hard to say no to the greatest of all time. You're like, you know what? Sit back here, Tiger. I got this one. Okay.
Yeah. As far as moving away from his dad, I mean, really don't have much.
It's about time.
Yeah, I think that's a natural progression for players of that level, is that they start to plateau in some capacity, and sometimes any change is a good change. I mean, we're
Right.
talking about the greatest of all time. He took Fore swings to number one and has had multiple caddies, right? And, you know, Phil has moved on from caddies. Other guys have moved on from coaches. Fowler moved away from Butch, went back to him, started playing well. You just sometimes just change, whether it's the person teaching you has better ability or not. Sometimes just change is good and a different voice, and I'm not surprised whatsoever by that. And obviously, him and his dad have a good enough relationship where that's it's a non-issue. He's still going to be his dad and be a supporter, right? And hopefully it's good for him because I think he's good for the game.
Right.
Yeah, I think just to kind of piggyback off of that, I think it was long overdue. I mean, I understand, like, we all understand the attachment we have to our fathers and coaching and getting us to these levels. Like, you couldn't say thank you enough, and
sure.
To be loyal to that, like, I get it where Justin's coming from. I think Justin is one of the coolest guys on tour next to, several others as well. But I think he was just staying loyal, but there's also a point too where it's like, dude, this is your career. This is like, you need to win. You need to be in those Sunday in those Sunday contending rounds to essentially make your nut. Like, you got to be in it. You got the game to, and I just felt like when he started playing the cut, when he started playing the move, or when he started moving the ball so much, it was just way too much. It was just way too much that he was thinking about. And it kind of, in my opinion, it just kind of tarnished his game. And it was just a slow, steady, just kind of free falling game. And now I'm hoping that he just gets back to it how he was when he first got on tour, which was just going right at the pin, let the club do what it's supposed to do, and don't make it more complicated than what it needs to. You don't need to play a 30-yard cut just to hit your 3-wood. Like, you got the distance. Take it over and hit that straight ball.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't got to play and measure out all the factors of the wind as much. You're not Bryson DeChambeau. Like, just play your game. I mean, you have super good hands for a guy who hits it as far as you do. Capitalize on that if you're in front of a green. Everyone's seen you chip in more than more than they can count. So continue just to go off of that. But I am very curious to see who he will choose as a coach. I kind of feel like he will. I feel like he will go to Butch. I feel like that's where he's going to go to get back to, like, being fundamentally sound and just letting things, flow as they do. Maybe that's not the right way to put it, but I think he will go to Butch. I just have a feeling in my gut, because it just seems like Butch is that player that brings everyone back, or I'm sorry, that coach who brings everyone back to the fundamentals of golf, right? Which is squaring up the club, get it on that target line, trust your line, hit your shot. Simple as that, He's done it for so many people, know.
I mean,
Tiger, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, I definitely think it's a very surprising pick. I think it's good that he's getting away from his dad. Like Dan is saying, obviously your dad always supports you. He wants the best for you at the end of the day. And like you also mentioned, Dan, that he definitely had plateaued, so it wouldn't hurt to move on and get some change, get another set of eyes on him. But speaking of Bryson DeChambeau that you brought up, apparently a few weeks ago he was back here at Dragonfly, where I am in Madeira, and was saying that he's in the talks of now maybe buying Belmont Country Club out here, and adding some lights to the golf course to get some night golf out here, which would be cool. But it is a country club, and it is like 30 minutes for me in Fresno because it's so freaking far south. And the people over at Dragonfly are still denying his bids to buy out Dragonfly Golf Course, which would be awesome because it's literally right across the street from me. But I was kind of bummed, of course, at the end that he picked JT over Bryson. I kind of thought, I was hoping for Bryson actually playing well to actually maybe get something out of it. And I'd like more Live to be playing with PGA, because I feel like that's a media driven thing. There's not too much of a wedge between the players themselves. It's all media. It's all brandle. That's pretty much it. Just like making it seem like there's such an issue compared to when you have these interviews with these players during the media? And what did I say?
Who,
No.
me? Oh no, I
Yeah.
was just. Oh no, sorry.
I thought you were saying like cut it off.
No,
Like no,
no, sorry.
no, stop.
No.
Okay,
I had an itch. My bad.
okay. You look like you're literally just like, dude, stop talking about that. Cut it off. My bad. Yeah,
No.
I was just saying like it just seemed so media driven when all the majors came up and all the interviews they were talking. They're like, oh, I just played with Rory last week, Brooks and Rory, you know, and there's not that animosity that the media makes, and it's just frustrating. And then you have all these PGA loyalists that are just like, you know, on with like their Twitter fingers and their Facebook fingers, like, oh, you know, it's not a real, they're not playing in a real tour, people that play and live, you know, all this stuff. And it's like, at the end of the day, like, what's PGA Tour going to do for you? Like, they're not going to say, hey, thanks for having our back, guys. You're the best. You know, like, at the end of the day, like, golf is one of the most difficult sports, not just to play, but to make money in. And if you can get some guaranteed money to still play in a very competitive league with other players where, again, guaranteed and you play less, who wouldn't want to do that? Like they said in Full Swing, DJ, who wouldn't want to get paid more and hang out with your family more? I mean, at the end of the day, it's the best of both worlds. And he's already kind of, DJ's probably plateaued, but I mean, he's done it all. And more power to him. I think it's probably like one of the most difficult decisions to make because your legacy might be tainted based off of that as well. But that is yet to be seen with this whole merger thing.
Yeah. No, I think you bring a good point. I mean, obviously, the media wants to stir things just so that way they can bring more attention. That's what they're there for.
Clicks. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, more clicks, more shares. Like they're there for that particular reason. But you know, I still till this day think about how some Twitter account made a fake. Oh my God, what's the guy's name? The shark.
Greg Norman.
Greg Norman account, right? Where it's Saturday and it says, "Oh, congratulations, Brooks Koepka for winning the Masters
on Saturday."
Yeah, on Saturday, and then someone from the PGA comments like, "No, idiot, there's one more round left." You know, and then he ends up losing, which I was just like, dude,
rub salt in the wound there.
Oh man. I still remember
awesome.
that one. That was hilarious.
Hey, I do got a question for you, Dan. In regards to like Club Caddie and like how far it's taken you, have you met any celebrities or anything, any cool like golfers or anything just from either expanding your products to different courses? Have you played with anyone like in particular that like without Club Caddie you wouldn't have had the opportunity to?
More so just like gone cool places and personally gotten to play some nice tracks because of it, whether it them be a customer or just through relationships through customers, right? Our CEO Jason Pearsall, he was really the guy that led the charge on the Club Caddie side of things, and the other three of us, played a role, but he was the visionary and deserves all the credit in the world, to be honest. He's definitely gotten to dabble and do some really cool things. So, I don't get too starstruck. I really wouldn't very much either. We played a course down in Florida called Old Marsh, which is it's a private Pete Dye golf course, and
okay,
just a humbling experience. Like you pull in an Uber and there's like Lambos getting pulled out on a tow truck, right? It's a whole different level there. But Brad Faxon like had his bag on a cart, in front of us basically, and I want to say that I might have told him if he was playing in front of us to have a hard hat on for his own good, but that may have happened. So yeah, just really just being able to go experience things more so than rubbing shoulders, and been very, very lucky in that aspect. And I've met a lot of sharp people, which to me, it being, I'm only 32, right? I'm still hopefully very young in the profession, and being able to, pick people's brains on, different things just helps me be more well-rounded and, apply knowledge to other customers and things like that. And, a personal goal of mine is, basically to be an owner myself of a property. And I think being able to utilize those experiences would go a long ways. And,
Of course.
so that for me, that's the coolest part. And also just, being able to play some really cool places. So, yeah.
That's always the benefit of being in the industry, man, is being able to, had the privilege to play some of these courses. I mean, I definitely, utilized that perk to the fullest when I worked in the industry. I mean, Pasatiempo, Olympic Club. I went everywhere I possibly could to go play these courses. And I mean, I probably broke a few rules, and saying like, "Oh, hey, like, my name is Julio. I'm the first assistant and director of of operations here at so and so club." Like,
you have fake cards too. Here you go. Here's my card.
No. Like, dude, like this is legitimate. But the rule is that your head pro or GM is supposed to call the club to to get you a reciprocal to go play. I made calls on my own, to go out there with like to go out there with my outside operations guys, to go out there with, my shop assistant. And I mean, dude, we would get out there, like we'd get out there at prime time, like 7:30 a.m., free round, complimentary, get out there and play like 36, like as if we own the place. Like, I mean, we lived it up. And I made sure of it. Like if I had a free day, I was playing 36, no doubt.
Yeah.
There wasn't a thing anyone could tell me that I had to do that day that was more important than just like going out there, trying to go low, hit the ball as far as I could, make some amazing shots, get some Instagram posts, and like have fun and like leave with a solid buzz. That was my whole thing.
Yeah, that was one of the few perks that we had at frickin' Roger Dunn, man. I mean, like we didn't get paid well, but like you call into any of the country clubs and they're just like, yeah, let me know when you want to come on.
Yeah.
And that was like my biggest perk. I think I played at 3 of the country clubs out here. I only stayed for 3 months, and I played 3 country clubs plus some other nice courses, all for free. Just let me know, and I never would have gotten on to them. Besides that,
I've noticed. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, that's a huge hidden compensation thing, right? That people kind of take for granted because they don't see it reflected on their paycheck. But I mean, if you're an avid golfer and you work in the sport, I mean, you can play $10,000 worth of golf in a year without paying a dime, right? It's just that's the reality. And I mean, that's otherwise you're paying for that, and
it's not cheap, man.
Yeah, absolutely not. And I mean, that's been hugely beneficial for somebody like me. And that's also, the Club Caddie thing too. I play more, than I did when I was strictly working green grass, because I mean, let's be honest, you work a 8, 10, 12, 14-hour day at a golf course. Almost the last thing you want to do is still be there for another 4.
Yeah, right? Of course. Anywhere you work, anywhere, no matter where it is, you don't want to go back there. Like,
yeah, exactly. So I think that part of it, has helped, and it's a cool way to, stay in the industry for sure.
Yeah. I will say I was very blessed with the club that I got to work at. Like, it was a desired course. It was called Boulder Ridge. It was literally like a course you would see in Colorado in between all the boulders. Beautiful layout, super fun views of all of San Jose and into like the Almaden Hills and the Santa Cruz Mountains. It was great. So like if I got there, if I saw a 5:30 a.m. start time for me to get into work, I was pumped, because then I knew like, dude, I'm off by 1, no one's at the club during the week at 1:00. I have the whole course to myself. Like I would play as much as I could until sundown went down. And then it was like, if I was hungry too, I got 75% off of the food. I was like, dude, I'm paying pennies on the dollar for the food, you know? And I just always carried, I always had like a small mini cooler in my truck. So that way I had like beers on deck. So I just put it into the back of the little carrier and I get out there and do my thing, man. I mean, I melted like, when I tell you, like, I literally took it to full advantage that I possibly could. I mean, I even had, I can count on my hand how many times my GM, like our big boss, called me and it was like, "You're playing more than what you're working. Like, what's going on?" And I'm like, "No way! Like, I put in so many hours. Like, I'm like, look at my time clock. I'm here 6 days a week. I'm working a whole entire day overtime." You know, like I deserve to play some golf. They're like, "Yeah, but you're playing at the premium times when members want to book and you're bringing 4 people out here. Like, you can't be on the tee sheet." I'm like, "Well, what do you want me to do?" Be like, "Oh, sorry, Mr. Jorgensen. You can't, like, no, me and my boys, we're going off right now. We've already been waiting. Like, what do you want me to do?" You know? And then I kind of worked the system, and what I would do was like black out 11:50 so no one could book it. And then I just get out there. I bet, guys, there's no warming up. Don't even get down the range. Like, just get to the first tee. We're off. It was fun. I think by far probably one of the best courses that I played during the time. It's a tie between like Pasatiempo and Cordoval Country Club. Cordoval is like, it's so pristine. Like I mean, you roll in, and just like how you were mentioning about Lambos, like there's Lambos, Ferraris, like super luxurious cars everywhere. And you get inside, and then at the time when I was playing it, it was a part of the Rosewood, which the Rosewood is basically like at the level of Four Seasons of hotels. And man, it was great, dude. Definitely lives it up.
So,
But I gotta ask, like, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I gotta ask, man. Like, you think Jimmy's gonna come out of this okay?
Oh my god! Don't even get me started.
You think Jimmy's gonna come out of this okay? We got. I don't
know, man. You got like free Harbaugh shirts on. You're doing rolling Fore up. Like the dude just like is going through stage 4 cancer. Like, what are we doing? Didn't the university give him that the suspension? It wasn't even like the NCAA, right? It was the university. I mean, it's like, come on, guys, come on. He's not dying. Like, he'll be there.
No, I as much of a diehard as I am, I try to stay as objective as possible, and I feel like the NCAA is out for a pound of flesh, man. I feel, the guy is basically giving him the proverbial finger about this whole thing, and I think he's kind of getting it stuck to him, and maybe it's to his own detriment, but that's kind of typical Harbaugh. I mean, you love that guy or you hate him, and it is what it is. But
I love him. I don't think the Niners ever played better.
I will say that, every year you get the NFL rumor and stuff. This is the first year where I think he's gone after this. I think he's just tired of this.
Okay, really?
I think he is too. I 100% agree. I just don't know where he would go. Like, I could see, call me crazy, but I could see Seattle. I don't know why, but I just have a feeling that, I have a feeling that he could go to Seattle just because they still have a few weapons. You still got DK
hanging him up after slinging it in practice. He's young, man. He's still playing with the dudes.
I know, but I don't know. I just have a feeling that hardball's gonna come in.
Are you saying Harbaugh?
Yeah, Harbaugh. I think I don't know why. I just have this feeling that if he does go, I just have this gut feeling that he's either going to go to Cowboys or he's going to go to or he's going to go to
that would be
or he's going to go to Seattle. Well, think about it this way: if he doesn't go to the Cowboys, Prime will be there next year for sure.
No. Prime is not going after 1 year.
Yeah,
he can't take his players with him. There's no way.
I think
that soon. 1 year, no.
I kind of think
he's going.
I think Prime is a college lifer, to be honest. I think so.
I think he'll be there for at least a few years. At least a few years. I'm not saying he's not ready now, but I feel like what he's done at Jackson State, what he's probably going to do at Colorado, like just be there for a few years, build everything up, and I think I don't know if he's ready now, but I mean, once he accomplishes what he accomplished at Jackson State and maybe now at Colorado, like stepping stone. When he feels like he's ready, he'll move on, and then I mean, dude's done it all. I mean, he's super impressive, and I love his pregame speeches that he's got. Like, pretty freaking intense.
I started listening. So someone on Spotify made a Prime playlist which has all of his songs from like Jackson State and now the songs that he has with the DJ at Colorado. I'll tell you this much: I've never been more pumped up in the morning in my life. Like, it's all the jams, dude. It hits in the soul where you're just like, oh yeah, dude, we ready. We ready. I mean, I just get fired up. But I gotta ask another question regarding Michigan. What do you think of our boy Blake Corum? You think he's gonna perform like he did last year, or what do you think? I would love to see him in the league.
Who's that?
Corum.
Oh, Blake?
Yeah, Blakey.
Yeah, he's an interesting case. I would say of the two backs they have, and this is just my opinion, I think Blake is better suited for the college game, especially the Big Ten game, but Donovan Edwards probably has the better NFL future because he's more of a receiving threat, and
it's a good point.
That's kind of the name of the game in the league now, but I don't know. I mean, listen to that kid talk. I mean, he's got a pretty good attitude, and I'm sure he'll figure out a role. And I mean, running back's got a pretty short shelf life, right? I mean, he could get in there for 2 years. He could be a good player, and it ultimately, he gets dinged, or he could just kind of fade away. It's to be seen. I think it's really hard to judge running backs anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
Unless they're studs. But, I mean, with the time being about 52 minutes, and I know it's probably about 12:30 where Daniel is now in Michigan, I think it's a good spot to wrap up this episode. And, I mean, thanks for joining us tonight. And, talk about Club Caddie. I know we're going to talk a little bit after just about some other things that we want to discuss with you. But it's always nice going back and forth, especially talking to other golf minds and having people on here. Our small little Four Dads podcast that, we're doing just to, as an outlet to talk sports, golf mainly. We appreciate you having on and having you on, excuse me. And stay fly and go low, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, thanks.